Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
All right, everybody, we're back today, episode 2779 of the Cabral Concept. This is our Friday review. Hopefully you're a long-time listener. You've been around for, well, at least a few years with the Cabral Concept. You know, each and every Friday, what I'd love to be able to do is give you a little recap from the week. Always so much happens every single week inside of our global functional medicine and integrative health practice. Want to share with you also recap on the podcast, bring you a brand new book review each and every week, product reviews as well. Sometimes health tech, sometimes today, dark chocolate. I'll be sharing with you the kids version or adult version as well, plus probably one of the best ones that you can get in terms of overall polyphenols and health. And if you've been listening into my brain health-based podcast, you know that dark chocolate, which is loaded in polyphenols and flavonoids and so much more, can be really great for your health. One, not overdone. All right, and then we'll also go over 2 research studies that I think are going to be fantastic for you, your loved ones, that you should know about. So first things first, I always go over a recap for the week. Today is day 5 of our fall detox. I hope that you have been participating. This is a global community functional medicine detox that we do all over the world. Equilife literally distributes the functional medicine detox to about 27 countries all over the world. So we have people participating, typically 10,000 plus people, which is, again, phenomenal. So the first 2 days starts with a longer intermittent fast, doing the 4 detox shakes per day, taking your Ayurvedic as well as functional medicine-based nutrients, and allowing the body to get into a deeper state of what's called AMPK, AMP kinase, as well as autophagy, which helps cellular cleanup within the body, recycling parts essentially within your body in order to heal. If you haven't heard about autophagy before, please do check it out. You can research past podcasts at stephencabral.com/podcast. There's a little search box right there. But it is the number one place to start for your health. So ideally, the first thing you do is you run your at-home lab test, whether it's the Big 5 or maybe the starter kit. And after that, you do your detox. 7 days if you've already done one before, or you're just testing it out, or 14 or 21 days for a deeper whole body reset. I can't recommend enough. There's a free course on what a functional medicine detox is, completely free, at stephencabral.com/courses. And then if you want to see the detox that I myself do each quarter, and same with our private clients and our global health community, you can go to stephencabral.com/detox. All right, definitely check it out. I'm telling you right now, by day 5, you will absolutely feel increased energy, better sleep, better mood, improved cognitive ability, which means thinking, recall, processing, etc. And I just would love to hear your success story as well. So feel free to leave it in that comments below. Or if you have any questions too, we're happy to help. All right, what's going on inside of the global functional medicine integrative health practice over at Equilife this week? If you are not already subscribed to one of the most popular based products, or maybe one of your favorites, there are about 150 different products there, definitely check that out, because you can get 30% off your first month subscription, which is huge, right? So double your subscription savings, whether it be on the daily hair support, the cell boost, the advanced renewal system, whether it be on something like Fatlocity for healthy metabolism and weight loss, whatever works for you. Check it out. Daily nutritional support, so much more. stephencabral.com/shop. Check it out today to save 30% while supplies last. All right, let's go into a podcast recap for the week. Monday's show is what you think about, you bring about. A beautiful quote by Neville Goddard. And remember, every one of these amazing individuals who really taught us, or at least brought in the US, these they call them New Age, but honestly, they're thousands of years old, right? They're talked about in the Bible. They're talked about in Ayurvedic medicine. They're talked about in all Eastern-based philosophies with the Vedas and the Vedic philosophies. But check out that show. What you think about, bring about, that is positive and negative. So that was episode 2775. 2776 was the 11 signs you may have leaky gut syndrome and all the different symptoms that you might be suffering from that you may never tie back to your digestive system because maybe you don't have bloating, maybe you don't have gas. Check out that show. 2777 was the worst food for your waistline. So if you're trying to improve your overall health and longevity and decrease all-cause mortality and thin the waist, check out that show, the number one worst food. Now, the number one nutrient, though, on a positive note, for boosting brain power and BDNF, that was yesterday. So the week before, this is a 3-part series, and yesterday was the third installation of that series. So BDNF, going to protect your brain as you age. You don't need to worry about the Alzheimer's and the dementia and Parkinson's and so much more. Boost BDNF. One of the ways that you can do it, I talked about last week, there's like 12 different nutritional supplements, but I also went over a half a dozen great foods. So if you're more of a whole food person, perfect. Add those to your diet. But then on yesterday's show, I did a head-to-head and I went over essentially 3 different nutritional supplements that are all said to be the best for boosting BDNF. And I shared with you the one that was 4.5 times greater than its second place opponents. All right, so check that out. All right, so that is the recap for last week. I appreciate you humoring me. I love being able to give a recap, and so do many other people in the beginning of the show. But now it's time to get into the product review of the week, the book review of the week, and the research. We're gonna go product review first. So I have been really doing a lot of research on the brain, and that's because I teach a course over at a place called High Performance Health. It's highperformancehealth.org. And I literally take people through A to Z preventative-based healthcare for ensuring, doing everything they can to live past 100 healthily and realistically. Like literally, I can't go through it all today. Realistically, I share that with people. And so I just take people through it, like all the preventative-based tests, because again, people die before the age of 75, 78 years old from 5 main causes. And if you don't get one of those 5, which you shouldn't, you can see them coming, then hopefully you live at least an extra 10 to 15 years. That's what the science says. Great. So now you've already made it to about 90 years old. Now what can we do to get a 10 plus more years? It's pretty amazing. I mean, that's going to be our generation right now. Like this is us experiencing these things. And so definitely check that out. But one of the modules that I just completed was on the brain. And so I wanted to do a little bit of continuing education, not just for the people in high performance health, but obviously for everybody in our podcast community. So one of those things is dark chocolate. Now for me, I've never really been able to do a lot of chocolate. I can do the daily nutritional support chocolate. I can do the healthy gut chocolate, but anything that was like deep and rich in chocolate always bothered my histamines because I am someone who came from a background of terrible allergies and Th2 immune dominance and all that. So I always stayed away from it. But I've been testing things. I really have. I've been taking my His Pro and I've been doing things and testing them. And lo and behold, if I don't eat a chocolate that contains any sugar, I don't seem to have an issue with it anymore. It's remarkable. So I use myself for safe science-based experiments with my own body type, and I like to share that with you. So I've done a ton of research on how do you find good chocolate, like what to look for, all of those different things. There's lots of bars that I've reviewed in the past, but honestly, one of the easiest ways and most enjoyable ways, because it's so versatile, is with chocolate chips. And you can also dose the serving super easy because you're most likely not going to eat an entire bag of chocolate chips. I hope not, right? Especially not what I'm about to tell you about, 100% chocolate. So what I realized through my research is about 30 to 60 milligrams of it, which comes out to be the equivalent of like, let's say a half a bar, quarter to a half a bar of chocolate if you were to get the bars. But obviously you can dose it based on chocolate chips if you want to. But chocolate chips can be added to other things like acai bowls. I love making acai bowls. We call them ice cream bowls in my house. Now you can add them to some healthy oatmeal if you wanted to. You can add them to anything that you want, but you can also use them in baking. And if you want to make your healthy chocolate chip cookies or whatever it is that you decide to do, great. So what I wanted to share with you today is first the kids one. You may have already heard of the kids one. Probably haven't heard of the adults. So let's get started. So it is a brand called Enjoy Life. And it's a brand that really focuses on kids and being free of major allergens. So it is free of wheat and peanuts and dairy and tree nuts and casein and soy and egg and sesame and mustard. Mustard, I didn't even know that was a top one. I've never seen that before. Lupin, sulfites, fish, shellfish, and crustaceans. Okay, so what's most important is I go right down to the ingredients. All right, and the ingredients say this: unsweetened chocolate. All right, so that's the first thing you want to look for, unsweetened chocolate. The next one is cane sugar. So we know that they didn't sweeten it ahead of time with all sorts of different things. They added cane sugar. Now, if you're sensitive to cane sugar, obviously this is not the brand for you. But the thing is, in one serving, there's only 5 grams of sugar and 2 grams of fiber. So it's really well balanced. Very difficult to find other chocolate chips like this. And the last one is cocoa butter, which gives it a lot of the fat and the creaminess. So here's the thing. This isn't the darkest chocolate in the world. I'm not going to say that, but it is dark chocolate. This brand makes a dark chocolate, okay? So here it is right here. Enjoy life if you're watching this on video. If you have another brand of chocolate chips that you love, or even chocolate that's actually healthy for you, feel free to leave it in the comments below. I would love to see it because we'll be doing a lot of experimenting with chocolate. My wife loves chocolate, especially my youngest daughter loves chocolate. So you'll be able to put these really in anything that you decide to make. So that's children and adults. It's not like it's not adults as well, because there's a little bit of sugar in here, which gives it a little bit more of a sweet flavor. But let's say you're someone who just wants to go all the way for the true health benefits, and you're not as worried about having that sugar or sweetness, right? You just want the health benefits. All right. This company, and it took me a while to find, is 100% chocolate. Nothing else. Literally starts with the cacao and ends with the cacao, and that's it. Now, they're one of the only companies to be able to make chocolate chips out of 100% chocolate or cacao beans, because it's not easy. So they actually use the whole cacao bean, and they use the cacao butter from the same bean itself, not added. There's not an added ingredient. It's all part of the same to actually form these into chocolate chips. I have found that they're a little bit more prone to melting very quickly versus other chocolate chips, which seem to have different additives. So just sharing that with you, they melt really quick. Now, here's the thing. When I go through the nutritional profile, they have 0 grams of sugar, still the 2 grams of fiber from the actual cacao beans themselves, right? The chocolate beans. And this is pure organic as well. So this is free, of course, of all of the same things, because there's nothing in this literally except cacao. This is 100% chocolate. The brand name is Pascha, Pascha. So it says on it, keto-friendly, no sugar added, organic, unsweetened, dark chocolate chips. Rainforest Alliance, gluten-free, all that good stuff. And although if you're eating regular chocolate, it will take a little bit of getting used to because there's no sugar, so it's a little bit more bitter. I'm telling you right now, it packs a punch. So this has been a nice add-on. I'll typically just do a small handful of these chocolate chips. What would be the equivalent to about 1 tablespoon? So 1 tablespoon is 100 calories total, 8 grams of fat, 4 carbs, with 2 of that being fiber, so 2 net, and 2 grams of protein. So it's pretty impressive. So I'm going to link these up here for you today. They'll just be linked up to, I'm sure, Amazon or the company's website. If you have another 100% chocolate chip, I would love to see that for baking and for other people to be able to use it. Now, I know you can break a chocolate bar, but feel free to leave that in the comments below. All right, that's our product review for the week. We've got a book review this week. And I told you a couple weeks back that I wasn't going to be giving you as many cancer-based books and reviews because I wanted to do that for a few weeks in a row and then just move on to additional books. But someone wanted me to review this book and this clinic that is in Mexico, because you can't do certain treatments in the United States like you can in Mexico. So this individual, which is Antonio Jimenez, who's a medical doctor actually, from Mexico, as well as has his license in Spain, practices in both Cancun and Tijuana, so both coasts. And the clinic is called Hope for Cancer. I'll do my best to link up his clinic. I'm not sure that I'm able to do that, but I'm going to link up the book. All right. So I can't link up the clinic for sure, because again, it looks like I'm giving medical advice. So I'm not giving any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical diagnosis, or medical cures on the Cabral concept. I have to say that. But this is a book from his practice and how he practices. And there have been many people that have gone and gotten actually pretty amazing results. So what he uses is immunomodulation, full spectrum nutrition, detoxification, ozone, oxygen, restoring the gut microbiome, working on the emotional and spiritual healing, and non-toxic cancer-based therapies. Even things like injectable mistletoe, if you've never heard about that before, and so much more. So this book is a synopsis. It's almost like the rain barrel effect for cancer. So I find it interesting in that way, and I'd love to be able to promote great people. So not only have I read the book, not only I've just went online, I looked at his center, very professional. Again, I've never met him. I've never been in the center. I don't know that much about it, but I do know people that have actually been, and they highly recommend it. So here's the thing. If you or a loved one are battling cancer and you want to do in conjunction, maybe natural medicine with conventional medicine, or you might just want to do one or the other, this is a book, in addition to the other ones that I've talked about, that at least might be worth exploring. All right. So I'll link that up. It's called Hope for Cancer by Dr. Jimenez. All right, 2 research studies for the day. The first one is going to be on exercise and prostate-based inflammation and cancer. So I found this to be really interesting, and here's why. Typically, long bike rides can cause prostate inflammation in some men. Not all men, but some men are more susceptible to it because you're literally seated on a bike seat, which is sometimes hard, and it's causing some inflammation. But what they found recently, which I'm going to pull out the research right here, which is I found, again, I geek out on this type of stuff, but a single session of intense exercise on a stationary bike boosted production of myokines, which are anti-cancer proteins that suppress tumor growth. So for advanced stage prostate cancer patients, that's who they did the study on. So they don't exactly know why, but it seems that the exercise and these bike sprints make the body environment less hospitable to these cancer growth-based cells. So obviously, this is pretty impressive research. I'm going to link it up for you. It was published in Prostate Cancer and Prostatic Diseases, and this was done out of Edith Cowan University in Australia. So I'm going to link that up for you today. Again, one more reason to get on that bike and do your bike sprints. You could do Tabata sprints on it. You could do which I recommend which is the 20 seconds on, 40 second on sprints. I've talked about that before. I talk about it inside of High Performance Health as well. So check that out. I will link up the research for you. I have one more research study that you have to know about. This is it. They found a longevity gene that they're called naked mole rats. And this longevity gene increases their lifespan. They have a longer lifespan than other mice. And so what they did is they isolated this gene. They then put this gene into regular mice. And it increased their lifespan without doing anything else by about 4.4%. That may not seem like that much, but let's take 80 years. Let's do the average lifespan, which is let's just say it's 75. It's 75 to 78, but let's just say it's 75. Okay, so if we take half of that, we get about 4 more years of life. So imagine that with just this one discovery, not changing anything in the mice diet or exercise or anything like that, they added about 4 more years, human equivalent of life. And this is just the start. So these are exciting times. I mean, they really are. These are some of the things that I'll be talking about that we'll be covering, but in more realistic ways of how to get started now at the Reimagining Health Summit. So if you've not heard about that yet, you want to meet in person this coming October and meet 300 plus of your fellow community members that are into health, that are into healthy aging and longevity and getting well and helping others. Definitely check that out. That's called the Reimagining Health Summit.com, the reimagininghealthsummit.com. We'll link that up today as well. And I definitely recommend checking that out. Would love to meet you this October. So head on over to StephenCabral.com/2779 for all the product links, the book links, the research links, and the Reimagining Health Summit link as well. All right, take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day and weekend. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.